Hey, I'm Charity, and this series is dedicated to all my lovers who have contributed to this beautiful, sexy, magnetic woman that I am today. And I just want to show them some love and honor them. Today, I'm going to talk about Hero, and this motherfucker broke my heart. He, mm, I might have been, I want to say 27. My son was 2. I had been married for about 4 years. It was rocky, of course. But it was really rocky around this time that I met Hero, and my husband and I were getting physical, and our arguments were super bad. And Hero was a police officer, and he worked with my brother. And I remember calling him one day. I also was the teacher of his youngest son. I want to say that we met through my brother, but I later found out I was his son's teacher. And so that's how we had more interaction outside of him being like my brother's partner or whatever. But anyway, excuse me, I remember my husband and I having a really, really, really bad fight. And it had gotten physical. And I called him and I was talking about it with him, and he was so calm and like logical, and just kind of talked me through, like, it sounds like it was a misunderstanding that got heated with it, and just kind of talked me through, kind of calmed me down, talked me through it. And he's a good bit older than me, maybe like 12 years or so. And so not old enough to be my daddy, but old enough to have this mature energy that I respected and kind of melted me. And so as his son's teacher, like, we had some interactions. And when he would come pick his son up, the way he looked at me was like I was art. He could not take his eyes off of me. It almost like pierced like to my soul. And he would say things like, of course, you're beautiful and you're gorgeous and you're a goddess. He was the first man that spoke into me that way. At this time, especially because of the disconnection between my husband and I didn't have any confidence at all. I'd lost all confidence, all sense of worth, and attractiveness, like the way I dress, the way I carry myself, nothing like the woman that I am today. And Hero spoke into me. You're so beautiful. You have no reason to hold your head down. You have no reason to doubt yourself. And he just kept saying, you are a work of art. Like, the color of this brings out the undertones of golds in your skin. Or, I mean, literally everything I had on, he would tell me how that hue complemented me, and my skin and my eyes or my smile or whatever. And he may be the reason why I'm so into color, because even when he like asks for pictures or whatever, he'll say like, what hue do you have on today? And I think I fell very quickly for him because he was a man that had this very calm, masculine energy. He was a police officer, so he's a protector. He was older, so he's mature, and so I found safety in him. He would speak to me, speak life into me, and so I found safety in him. I tried my best not to fuck him because he was my brother's partner, and my brother is very protective, overprotective of his sisters, and so I was trying to respect that, but I could not resist his charm and the emotional safety I felt. I felt like he saw me, and so of course I felt an attraction to him. So I remember going to a friend's house that stayed around the way that he stayed. He was single, he wasn't married or anything. And he came to pick me up. And I was so nervous. My heart was beating out of my chest. Like, I want to say he might have been the first older man that I had been with. Maybe second. I'm not sure. But the first older man of significance, I would say, I guess. And so, anyway, so he came pick me up, took me to his place, and immediately said, I believe he said, let me taste you, and laid me back. And I was like, okay. And it was so good. And I think that's all we did the first time. Was he went down on me, and it was incredible. And I remember feeling even safer because I wasn't expected to return the favor. I wasn't expected to allow him to penetrate me. He just wanted to please me. And so a sexual relationship ensued, and I was gone. I really kind of dove into him. So we kept hooking up, and even though he spoke life into me, I was a work of art and I was a goddess and this and that, he still was emotionally unavailable to like a point. He had been divorced, and I don't know what kind of other relationships he had, but there was definitely a block. Because as we, continue to connect, I could feel in his touch and I could see in his eyes that he was falling for me as well. And I would mention that, and he was like, "No, I'm not. What I look like falling for a married woman." And he was just so adamant about it, like, so no. And it really hurt because I'm like, but I see you. I see the way you look at me. Like I'm looking at the love in your eyes. Like it's so obvious, and I'm feeling the love in your touch. And for me, it's so obvious. And he just was adamant, like, no. So I doubted myself, and my intuition. And so we talked for over a year, and he kind of ghosted me, and for the life of me, I just could not figure it out. Like, to me, everything was going, not, I wouldn't say well, but like, I was so into him that I just accepted. Like, I just wanted him and whatever he gave me. And so I did not understand why he had disappeared. And one day I was in Byram going to my local Walmart, and two boys run up to me, "Miss Perkins," and they're hugging me and talking to me, and they were his sons. And I was like, okay. And so I was excited to see them and excited to potentially see him, because I mean, if his boys were there, then he has to be there. And he was there, but he was there with another woman and her son. And my heart was broken. In my mind, the fantasy that I cooked up for myself was that, because at this time I only had one son, and I definitely wanted to leave my marriage, and I loved his sons like they were mine, especially the child that, I had taught for that year. So in my mind, leave my marriage. It's not healthy, by the way. Leave my marriage, and, we become a family. And so to see him, and he didn't tell me, like he had just disappeared. So I didn't know that he was with anyone else. But to see him out on my side of town, because he didn't stay on my side of town. He stayed 30 minutes, away from me. To see him on my side of town, in my hood, with another woman, it just felt like deep betrayal, and my heart was broken. And I felt so violated that I went to a martial arts studio. I went to church with a guy who is a martial artist and has his own studio and teaches, martial arts and everything. I think self-defense, stuff like that, to people, whatever, still does it today. And I went to his studio, and I said, I need you to teach me how to protect myself. I had felt so violated and I think exposed and vulnerable. Like he had taken my heart and like stomped on it. Like that's how heartbroken I was to see him with my boys and that other woman and her child, and they're like a little family, like making groceries and shit. Like I'm like, what the fuck? And he just kind of he just ghosted me, just kind of disappeared. And so he tried to make, small talk, whatever. Man, fuck, man. Anyway, so went to this martial arts studio and was like, I need you to teach me how to protect myself, because I felt so taken advantage of. I felt so betrayed. I felt so violated, and I couldn't even get through my first lesson without feeling so low, discouraged. I believe I remember like crying while I was filling out like the little interest form or whatever. Like I just felt super fucking violated. So fast forward maybe another year or so, and somehow he gets in contact with me and he tells me, you were right. I was in love with you. I was just afraid. I didn't want you to leave your husband for me and I not be the man that you needed me to be. And all these things. And yes, thank you for the confirmation, the validation or whatever. But my heart had already been, broken. And so I still continued to talk to him, but we didn't have sex again. And even to this day, 12 years later, we still talk pretty much on a regular basis. And he still makes me feel and calls me goddess. He makes me feel like the most beautiful woman in the world to him. Still to this day, he's married and all that, but still to this day makes me feel like the most beautiful woman in the world to him. I think that pain that I felt and the desire to become a family with him is another energy that helped me call Q in, because really and truly it's the same energy. Like Hero had a son, I was the teacher, he was raising his son pretty much kind of like on his own. Here, Q, I'm his son's teacher. He's pretty much raising his son on his own. Like the same energy. Had Q told me to leave my marriage, I would have. Without thinking, I would have left my marriage. Now, granted, like I have, more kids this time, but really it's the same. Q is like Hero 2.0, except for like Hero is very much speaking life into me. Q does say encouraging things, but not at the level that Hero does. But what makes Hero so special to me, and the reason why I called him Hero, I nicknamed him Hero, is because I was dull and slumped over and looking down at the floor and not knowing that I am a work of art. Like I am a walking masterpiece, and I did not know that. He is really the first man to recognize the goddess in me, Now I'm surrounded by men all the time who recognize and even worship the goddess in me. But Hero was the first man to recognize her and to speak to her and to pull her out. And he really did pull her out and made me feel so sexy and confident. And of course, yes, I had to do my own work to really connect with her, but he showed me that she was there, and that's a gift. And so, Hero, I know you'll see this because we're still connected, and we've talked about this so much, but you are such an important part of my journey and me becoming the woman that I am today. This magnetic woman who is bold and confident in her sensual energy and her sexual energy. And I own all parts of me with confidence. And you spoke that life into me. You lit that spark in me. And I'm so grateful. And I'm sure my partners after you are grateful. And maybe future partners, who knows, they'll be grateful too, because you really where it started as far as the lovers are concerned. No, I didn't call you daddy, but you were a mature and safe masculine energy for me to see myself and to grow. And for that, I am eternally grateful. So I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you.